and actually this PowerPoint is had a meeting with Philip Glass friends and his agent. I want Philip Glass to join this project. That's why I make the presentation, and we can have a look about this presentation. The first photo on the cover you can see is quite horror because it's a real event happened in Taiwan last year, and it's terrible fire accident which is in the swimming pool because it was a party, but the presenter used the color powder, and because it's flammable and the lighting was so high, so hot, so it just get burned, and everyone was in the swimming pool, and the swimming pool just like a fireplace, and everyone was in the fire. So it's terrible, and there are many young people died in this accident, but still there are some alive, but they need to go through the long process to do the exercise to healing both in physically and mentally. That's why we have the idea concept. Okay, so the second page is, yeah, because we are thinking the exercise is kind of difficult because it's painful. I don't know if you can imagine when our skin is reborn, and it was a small piece, and we have to make the strength and to make it like the normal skin, and it's really painful. So once you feel painful, you wouldn't like to do that, and if you don't do that, then you wouldn't get recover. But if you don't get recover, and the negative circle will come again and again and again. That's why we are thinking if the music can help these young people, because they love music, that's why they are in the party. If the music can help the exercise, their movement goes smoothly. For example, like if they more focus on the music, they may forget the pain. I'm not sure, but we can try. That's how we try this experiment.
Well, I think that's a good presupposition, because I think in rehab they are using music more and more, depending on what the person likes. To it actually reduces the level of pain by a measurable amount when somebody's listening to music. So
yeah, but in the music therapies, there are passive and active. Passive is more like what kind of music you like, and we play the music, you listen, and maybe you will control the pain or decline the painful feelings. And the active music therapy is more like you can use some instrument and play and do some exercise with instrument. For example, like play guitar or play drums, to use your eyeball, your elbow, your fingers. Yeah, but in our project it's a bit different, because luckily we met a Taiwanese artist. His name is Luan, and he is doing his project. And can we go to the third page?
Okay.
Yeah, and his project is kind of interesting because he is in his late 20s. He was planning to do the 30 works when he getting 30, but actually he is 32 now. But still, this work haven't finished yet. But he has already done 29 works, and each works is contains with the mathematics and the music, and you can use the mouse, use your mouse to play on the screen, and each movement can create some music and some graphics on the screen, and it's interactive. All right. So when I met Luan, I think that's a good idea, and I asked him if he can design the application from the screen to the movement. You can join and use this application. And the reason this one is because Alan think this is more like an instrument.
It's more like you're composing a piece of music.
Yeah, but
so should I play this?
Because in this application, the regulation in mathematics and the actions, is not just random. There's some orders, so the people or the composer can use it, but still it has to improve. For example, like it could be recording, it could be repeated. Then the composer can make it more artistic piece, not just like a movement only. Is that clear?
It struck me as being both a compositional tool, or a scoring tool, and an instrument. So that was quite interesting, and it seems like you could probably change parameters outside of that interface to get different pitches or to create.
You guys want me to play the video?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so you can see that it's not just graphics only. Once you can make the graphic into like a triangle, because triangle is kind of in mathematics, it has its own logic. Or if you design the graphic into a square, the sound would be can be regularly and make the composing. Not just for for accident to do it, or for whatever you're doing. You can do predict the sound. All right. Okay, so that's Alan's work. So he will come up with 5 applications which can use your movement to do the interactive with the screen and the movement and the music. All right. And okay. The next page is from the brainwave detecting. And Jonathan, would you like to introduce a little bit and how far you are going now?
Okay, so for the past week or two, we've been trying to test this headset. It's called the EPOC Plus device. And then basically you just wear it on your head, and then it will it will have all the little brainwaves from all these little like these little connecting points. All of them will give you a single brainwave from that part of the brain, and then once we start doing an activity like reading, listening to music, or meditating, all the brainwaves for that single person will change. So it's really interesting. Here, I want to show you guys a video. I want to show you guys a video of our test. Okay, so this is when Bella is actually reading. So we can see her activities, like including her engagement, excitement, interest, and everything. And all these little brainwaves are individual connecting dots on her head. So you can see certain different parts of her brain is actually working differently than the other parts when she's reading. And we've done this for, let's see, we did this for listening to music, we did this for movements, and we tested the extent of how this device can work with heavy movements versus just little movements. So we did, our testing results showed that moving, like shaking your head might actually shake the devices. So that might actually not work correctly for the device. And this is the actual device, if you guys wanted to see this. It looks like this, and then actually on these little points there will be little connectors, and you have to soak them in this solution right here for it to work. And we haven't put that on yet, so.
And then why we want to use this is because we actually want to have a subjective data. So when Alwan design his movement, when those patients are doing this, for example, like this arm movement, we want to make sure the brainwave is actually doing better than normal rehab. So this is just for us to get some subjective data.
Okay, at the beginning I was thinking if I can manage the presentation as an exhibition, but so I'm thinking I changed the presentation, the exhibition, to a party. The reason I want to make it a party is because, you know, these young people, they get hurt in the party, but they may have some guilty. The guilty could be deeply inside their hearts, but they didn't observe. They think that's all their fault. If they didn't go to the party, then things wouldn't have happened. If they don't get hurt, and their family wouldn't have to go through all these painful things, right? So the guilty can be rooted in their heart, and maybe they didn't how can I say? They didn't observe that, but it could happen in every decision they make in the future. That's why I want to make a party to invite them to join and let them know that it's not their fault. It's the presenter's fault. It's fine to have fun as you are young. Okay, so I'm going to have a party in November. I'm not sure if the date is confirmed. It's like the first or the second week of November. When I hope you all can come over to join. And in the party, there will be some music from those patients have done. Okay, the sound from the patients have done. Also, the image from their brain waves, the graphics from Alwan's application, they all combine together for the video projection. So there will be a VJ and the DJ, and the party will divide into two sections. The first section will be directing by Alwan, because Alwan also a sound artist. So he will work with a DJ team from local. There are a few goals of this project. Because this project is 2-year run project. The first year which is now. I hope the presentation is a party, just as I said before. But the second year, I hope, and also Aluan, he hopes this project can be a real performing arts. But we don't have a clue about the art forms at this moment, because I was suggesting maybe a dance with the music, with his art piece, but he said it's crochet. Everyone does that, so he needs some new art form. So another goal is, Aluan is agreed to have his artworks to open for the public, open source, you know. So we might design as an app eventually, and for people to download freely if you have some needs from this. For example, like maybe not for burning patient only, maybe, you know, for Alzheimer, for the old people. If your family, there's someone needs do some training exercise or do some movement, and you can do with this app. That's what we are hoping. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all the project about.
That's amazing.
Talk to Aluan. I mean, I can see that there's a number of parameters that can be set in the piece that he's doing live on screen. There are a number of other parameters that may be set. I don't know if they're set through code or if he has a graphic interface, but you know, there are whole things about, well, this thing could play in different keys. You could have different pitch ranges. There could be all sorts of other generative parameters that could be set. And I don't know how interested he is in exposing those to other people or taking feedback on them or working with other people on it. So I think for me, the most important thing to find out would be what his concept is, how collaborative he wants to be on it. I'm not saying he should be or shouldn't, you know, it's his work. And then getting a sense of what that working relationship is going to be. And again, with the brainwaves, I'd love to see more work coming out on that. I'd love to get my hands on one of those. One of the things I should have said at the beginning is that I'm a research fellow in the Department of Informatics at King's College London, specifically the Center for Telecommunications Research, and our project is networked communication and network performance. So I'm working with Ericsson and Vodafone on developing performances that happen in more than one place simultaneously, and we're doing a series of workshops. The first is audio, the second is video, and the third is haptic, to co-create theatrical pieces around this. One of the things we're also looking at is, you know, we're working basically from the premise of the next stage of Internet of Things and also the Internet of Touch. And we're also looking at the Internet of Emotions, so we're looking at things that can stimulate the vagus nerve directly. So I think, you know, there are a lot of questions about sort of the resolution and accuracy of EEG. So I'd like to just track what you're doing there. Maybe get my hands on one of those devices if I can, and just see if I can replicate things here and work with you on interpreting the data and, you know, giving it a context of, you know, how objective we should take these subjective measurements. So, you know, do they track? What do they actually track to? And how do we, you know, can we create an emotional scale? So I'm just there to, you know, I'd love to track what you're doing. If you want to lean on me for anything, I'm happy to do that. I'd love to look at your results and just comment on them as they come along. And I actually have access to a lot of resources and technologies that, you know, may be of use to this project. So, and we're really interested in collaborating as well. So I might be able to, you know, tap into King's College, which has a, you know, really good computer science. That's what informatics is computer science engineering, but also a lot of biomed and medicine. So.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So I think the next step, I would have Aluan to talk to Ali and to describe or explain how he is thinking and how about the app into turning into a composing tools. Thank you for everyone to participating this time, the first time discussion online. Thank you, Ali, and
Thank you.
Let's keep posted. All right, and I will manage
Okay.
you to talk to Ali very soon. Talk to Aluan. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Ciao. Bye. And Jonathan.